I have always been here.
I know, obviously, you probably can't see the background, but because you're all in front of it, but that's okay. Um, Something I've been mulling over since a couple of streams I had done and everything was the ending of the original trilogy movies, Star Wars trilogy movies. And it's something that's been on my mind for a while now. And that's my connection to the end of Return of the Jedi and why I resonate so strongly with it and everything. And I sat down and wrote this a couple days ago. It's been floating around my brain. So, like I say, if you guys want to stick around and listen to me ramble for a few minutes, you can, or if you want to bounce, that's up to you too. So, I'm just going to pull my notes up here and we'll go from there.
Okay.
As the thing says, why I connect with Luke Skywalker and the end of Return of the Jedi.
Gotcha.
So, okay. I'm going to go off camera for this because I don't like to always be looking down when I'm reading. The majority of my life, one Star Wars film has held a special place in my mind. While I love episodes 1 through 6 as a whole, Return of the Jedi is by far a personal favorite. As I have mentioned in other videos and live streams, my personal attachment to Return of the Jedi, it being the last movie I got to watch in a theater with both my parents before my father died a year later. There is a much deeper reason why this movie and its conclusion is deeply moving to me. While many people focus on the saber battle between Luke and Vader, there is a deeper theme at play throughout that battle. Redemption. Luke is fighting to save the soul of his father, to bring the man, Anakin Skywalker, back from the pit of hatred and despair he has been trapped in for so many years. In the scene prior to Luke and Vader traveling to the Death Star, Luke seeks to reach the man who helped give him life, who was a man of principle and integrity. Luke saw the main flaws that were part of Anakin and saw the good man that still existed within the cage of Vader. Even during their duel, Luke still tried to reach into Anakin's mind and awaken the remains of the good man who still existed. In the end, it wasn't Luke's skill with a lightsaber that saved his father or the lives of his friends. It wasn't even his abilities in the Force. It was compassion, determination, and fearlessness that reached into the mind of Anakin Skywalker and freed him from the chains he had been bound by for decades. From my point of view, the scene in the hangar on the Death Star is one of the most touching moments in the entire saga. While I'm sure fans have their own favorites as well, the exchange between Luke and Anakin, while brief, is powerful. One of the most impactful lines is a counter to what happens at the end of the duel in Revenge of the Sith between Anakin and Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan leaves Anakin on the shore of the lava river. Luke doesn't leave his father on the doomed station. It's a small moment, but for me, the small moments are what makes Star Wars great. The funeral scene on Endor is equally powerful. We stand with Luke in a bittersweet moment. We watch as the flames consume the body of Anakin, and we mourn with Luke. This is where my connection to Luke is at its deepest. I was 7 years old at the time of my father's death. and was unable and unequipped to mourn. In the years that have followed, my attachment to this scene has only grown. I can connect to Luke, and through him, I found the means to mourn my own father's passing. I have few memories of him, but the ones I have are precious to me. Luke lost a father he barely knew. In that, I connect with Luke. My father's health became a prison for him that separated us, due to no fault of his own. Luke, mourning his father, helped me to mourn mine. Luke's determination to face the seemingly impossible task of redeeming his father helped me to understand the trials my father faced. The possibility that a new heart would never become available to replace his failing one. Yet for 3 years, he kept on fighting till a new heart finally became available. To me, Luke Skywalker embodies myself and my father. Through Luke, I found the means to mourn my father's death. And through Luke, I saw the same drive, determination, and fearlessness that my father had in those years when things looked rather hopeless. Luke didn't give up on his father. And even though he was driven to a moment of anger, Luke faced death itself and the person of Palpatine. And where his strength wasn't enough, his father's was. And together they overcame the impossible, defeated their foe, once and for all. And more importantly, Luke proved that they were still a good man within the shroud of hate and resentment that was Vader. So to the persons responsible for the creation of Luke Skywalker, George Lucas, and to Mark Hamill, who portrayed him, I say thank you. Thank you for creating a character who helped me during a period of my life when I needed it most. Thank you for giving a man the means to say goodbye to a parent who was taken too soon. And thank you for giving me a portrait of what fearlessness looks like. And there's actually one other thing I want to share with you all.
Sure.
I'll go on camera for this. This is actually the original novelization of episodes 1 through 3. It's the 25th anniversary. Yeah, it's the 25th anniversary edition and everything my mother got for me years ago as a Christmas gift. And this is from the last. This is from the last chapter of Return of the Jedi. I'll be jumping around a little bit, so just FYI.
Yeah, it's okay.
But he wanted to make it all right for Luke. He wanted Luke to know he wasn't really ugly like this. Not deep inside. Not altogether. With a little deprecating smile, he shook his head at Luke, explained the way the unsightly beast his son saw. Luminous beings are we, Luke. Not this crude matter. Luke shook his head to tell his father that it was all right, to dismiss the old man's shame, to tell him that nothing mattered and everything, that he couldn't talk. Vader spoke again, even weaker, almost inaudible. Go, my son. Leave me. At that, Luke found his voice. No, you're coming with me. I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you. You already have, Luke, he whispered. He wished briefly he'd met Yoda, to thank the old Jedi for the training he had given Luke. But perhaps he'd be with Yoda soon. Now, in the ethereal oneness of the Force, and with Obi-Wan. Father, I won't leave you, Luke protested. Explosions jarring the docking bay in earnest, crumbling one entire wall, splitting the ceiling. A jet of blue flame shot from a gas nozzle nearby. Just beneath it, the floor began to melt. Vader pulled Luke very close, spoke into his ear. Luke, you were right. You were right about me. Tell your sister. You were right. And with that, he closed his eyes, and Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, died. Jumping ahead a little bit. Asen Brookholder, yes, this I believe was, let's see, Star Wars. This one was written by George Lucas, Daniel F. Glunt, and James Caan. Not the actor, obviously. So. Luke stood in a forest clearing before a giant pile of logs and branches. Lying still and robed atop the mound was the lifeless body of Darth Vader. Luke set a torch to the kindling. As the flames enveloped the corpse, smoke rose from the vents in the mask, almost like a black spirit, finally freed. Luke stared with fierce sorrow at the conflagration, and silently, he said his last goodbye. He alone had believed in the small speck of humanity remaining in his father. That redemption rose now with those flames into the night. Luke followed the blazing embers as they sailed to the sky. They mixed there in his vision with the fireworks of rebel fighters were setting off in victory celebration. And those in turn mingled with the bonfires that speckled the woods, and the Ewoks' village, fires of immolation, of comfort and triumph. You could hear the drums beating, the music weaving in the firelight, the cheer of brave reunion. Luke's cheer was muted as he gazed into the fire of his own victory and loss. In an evanescent moment, looking into the bonfire, Luke thought he saw faces dancing. Yoda, Ben. And was it his father? He drew away from his companions to try and see what the faces were saying. They were ethereal, and spoke only to the shadows of the flames, and disappeared. It gave Luke a momentary sadness, but when Leia took his hand and drew him back close to her and to the others, back to their circle of warmth and camaraderie and love, the Empire was dead. Long live the Alliance.
That was really good.
Well, after the conversation me and Enosh had a couple of weeks ago, and just something that's been mulling around in my head for a while, I finally felt like I needed to put into words who Luke and Anakin Skywalker were to me.